Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sunny, your host, and in this video, we are going to explore further in our playlist that is FastAPI for AI. So, what I'm going to do is, if you remember in the last meeting, I was talking about this diagram where I gave just an example where we were trying to see that we took an example of Twitter, right? And then we thought that we assume that, let's say, if it is having a fast API server, so how it will behave. And I have also shown you this diagram where we have uh, create request and then read and update and delete request, and what it is equivalent to in HTTP request. So in the previous hello world example, I have just quickly showed you that what the get request is. So, but in this video, we will try to also explore that all these operations, and I will just try to mimic the behavior of a simple Twitter app. Okay, where we will try to like create let's say if you are creating a new tweet, if you are listing all your tweets or seeing your tweets like of a user on their timeline, and then let's say if you're looking for all the tweets that you have, okay, on your Twitter account. So I will just show you just real quick, like what I'm trying to show here is, so let's say if I am, by the way, now as you all know that Twitter is now called as x.com. So if I open it, so you can see it opens on a URL that is which is this, that is x.com/home. And then yeah, so this is where I am as of now. And let's say if I go to my profile section, so if I click on my profile, so it changes to my user ID, okay, x.com, and then it changes to my user ID, right? And this is how you can see my timeline, like all the tweets that I have done or like retweeted, everything, you can see it. Okay, and it also shows you some sort of a timestamp, right? And then when we edit that, so it will change to some other timestamp, right? So these are the things that we try to capture in this tutorial, and I will try to make it as simple as possible. And subsequently, what we will do is we'll try to add on more fast API related features so that we can understand fast API better, and that same learning will be useful in our AI application building using fast API. So these all are necessary to understand that, and it will definitely be a fruitful once you complete this playlist. And yeah, so those are the things that we are going to deal with. And here you can see that the way we post the tweet. So you just type something and then click on post. So that sends some sort of a post request, and then it will be shown here itself. Okay. So let me just quickly show you. Let's say if I say hi all, and if I post it, so you can see it quickly got visible here and says now it says that it is being posted today just right now. Okay, so let's try to mimic this behavior and see. I'm not going to build all this front end stuff. I will just show you that how it will look like when you use fast API as a backend for this kind of application. Okay, so let's move back to our Visual Studio Code, and here since we already have this activated, and then this is the main.py file that I have used last time. Okay, so let's run this and see the outcome. So for this, the command word was FastAPI dev and then main.py. Okay, since we are developing this application, so you can see that it will give you this location. And if I click on it, so it will show you the FastAPI's inbuilt documentation or Swagger documentation. Okay, so this is how we can see. And then if you want to test it again, like you can just click on try it out and click on execute. You will get an outcome here. Okay, apart from this, like you can even have let's say if you want to test it on a browser, so you can just use the same URL that it has here, and if you paste it, and then if you go to, let's say, a root, so you can see that it is going to give you an outcome here as well. Okay, that's how, like that means we are at home page right now. So let's try to build the Twitter functionality now. So let's say I will be using time. So I will just importing time here so that we can have the timestamp there. And then we will have some in-memory tweets. Right now I'm not using any database, so I will paste it here. So this will be our in-memory tweets. We can see that this is my username that I showed you, and then these are the tweets, and this is the timestamp at which it was published. Okay, it's just some random tweets. Okay, now the first endpoint that we are going to build is the home route, which is going to be app.get again, and then let's call this as at home. Okay, the way we have seen the in the x.com, right? So there's a Twitter example that I gave, so we can just build something like that. And here we will, instead of returning this, what I will do is I will try to return the tweets that we have. Okay, so I will just simply return these in-memory tweets. So, and let's call this as a Twitter. Instead of calling it as root, I will call it as timeline. And yeah, I think we can call it as, let's say, Twitter timeline. Okay, so once I save it, your app will rerun. And if I go again to the docs, so if I try to run it, so it will say not found because we did not build anything on that route. I will simply say //home. So if I run it, so you can see it is going to print this. Okay, and if you have some extensions like I have it here, pretty print, so it will show you this way. Okay, you can just find out this here in your extensions. Okay, you can add extensions here in your browser. Okay, if you don't want to use it, that you can ignore this, that's not a problem. You can just simply come here, and then if you refresh your page, so you can see that it has changed to now Twitter timeline. It is now at /home, and you can now simply click on try it out. And once you click on execute, so you will see all the Twitter like endpoints that we have, like all the tweets that we have in memory tweets. Okay, now let's try to do one thing. Let's try to let's say if you want to see the tweets of a specific user, right? So that will become your a user's timeline, right? Where you just see your own tweets or the user's tweet. So what we will do is it will be a get request only. And in this case, I will change here. Here it will become username, and the same input will be taken here, username, and this will become string here. Okay, and what I will do is I will try to find out that what are the tweets by this user. Okay, so I will simply say that let's say I will just iterate over the tweets that we have. Tweet for tweet in tweets if tweet username is equals to username. Okay, and then I will see that if this gave me tweets or not. If not user tweets, that means if there are no user tweets found, or if it was an empty list, so it will simply return that you can say that error message, and then we can say that the user, and then pass on the username that you requested for, not found. Okay, and if this is not the case, then we will simply return the user tweets that we have got. Let's save this application and again go back to our documentation, and let's refresh this. So you see there is a Twitter timeline and then again Twitter timeline. So I think we did forget to rename this value here. Let's call this as a user timeline. Okay, and then again refresh it, go back here, and then refresh it, so you can see that there is a user timeline. Now in here, if you just look at the second one, so when you click on try it out, so it will give you that what username you want to look for. So let's say if I'm looking for my username C17Hawk, and then if I try to execute it, so you will see that it will give me all the Twitters, like all the tweets which is by this user name. Okay, and now let's say if I try to go for any unknown user that does not exist, let's say XYZ. Okay, just for a sample, so it says that user XYZ not found. Okay, that means that endpoint works. So till now we have just implemented again get method only, and these are two type of get methods that we have implemented. One is for the general timeline where you can see tweets from others as well as yours, and then the other one is the other one is by the user itself. Like let's say if you're looking for your own timeline or maybe someone else's or a specific user timeline. Now, next thing what we are going to do is let's try to create a tweet. Okay. So in order to create a tweet, we need to go for a different endpoint where that will become a post request. Okay. And here you're going to go for a post request by this username. Okay. And then again, we will try to, let's copy this function. And here we will call this as post tweet. Okay. Accept the username and then also accept the tweet value, that what tweet you want to post. Okay. And then here, let me get rid of this. And let's call this as, let's say, new tweet. And here we will create a dictionary which will have all these components that we are going to build. Okay. And timestamp will require a method which will generate a timestamp for us. And then let's say, and this username will be replaced here. Now we need to create one more function here which will give us a timestamp. So, okay. So for that, what we will do, we will simply define, let's say, get timestamp function, which will simply return, it will simply return time stamp. And we are keeping the timestamp of this format. So it will be of the format year. So in order to specify that, we need to say that %y, that is the year first. Then we will have month. Then we will have day. Then we will have the hour. Then %m, is minute and hours, and then second. Okay. So it will simply print the format. It simply returns timestamp in format, let's say year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. Okay, so this will become a very unique number every time when we generate, whenever we will call it. Okay, so since it is returning string, so you can also specify the type of it. So let's call it as, it is returning string here, so we can just define that, and let it actually helps the person who is reading. I mean, like, it gives you just a hint that, okay, that this is going to return a string. Okay, so let's try to call this here, get timestamp. So it will create a new tweet here. Okay, and now once we have this new tweet, and then what we will do is we will simply as a success. And one more thing, like, because since you are passing a dictionary here, so we can even pass it here, and let's call this as tweet. So what we are going to do is we are going to pass this dictionary, and we are not going to pass this. We will just simply pass a null value here, and here we will be passing the dictionary, this tweet value, and then it will simply be like creating this tweet. Okay. Now, in order to create this tweet, what we have to do is we have to append these to the list of tweets that we already have. Tweets.append this new tweet, and then we will, as a example of that there's nothing wrong has happened, so we can simply return this, that this new tweet has been created. So it will simply return the new tweet that you have created. So now let's save this and then again go back to our terminal here, and if you just see, when you refresh it, the docs, so you will see there is a post request came here, and here it says post tweet, and if you click on when you click on the try it out, so it will ask you to give you a username. Let's say I call this username as, let's say Sunny. Okay, let's say other user, which will get created, and then here we will simply yeah, let's take this example as a username as Sunny, and then we will have here one dictionary here. So let's say this dictionary says hello all, and then you should make this as null. Okay. There's no requirement of it. Yeah. Once it is done, then we can simply try to execute it. Let's see if there is anything. Yeah, everything is fine. So you can see that it has given me the outcome that yeah, Sunny is the username and this is the hello all, and it has created this timestamp. Okay. And if I go back to my like Twitter timeline here, the first one, and then if I try it out again, so you will see that there is going to be a new users got added, and then this is a new tweet at the end, right? So that's how what we did is we have created a endpoint which will simply post a new tweet. Okay. Now, since we have posted a tweet, then let's say if we want to edit this tweet, so for that we will have a put method. Okay, let's again quickly see this diagram. So we have a get method, get HTTP request, which we are using it to just view the timelines. Post request we have created, that is the first one here, and which is for the posting new tweet. And now since let's say if you have already posted a tweet, so we should be, in order to update it, we will use the put method. Okay, so let's go back and try to create that. So in order to let's make it this as put request here, and then so apart from this username, and what we will need is we will also need the timestamp. Okay, so we will use this username and timestamp both, so that we can identify that which tweet we want to edit. And then let's pass this here. The type will be string, and first of all we need to find out the tweet that we want to update. So for that we will, let's say there is a variable tweet to update, and we will say that we'll use this list comprehension and this next keyword in Python. So what it will do is it will iterate over this generator, which is going to be created here, and we will simply iterate here that let's say tweet for tweet in the list of tweets that we have. Tweet is tweet timestamp, okay, equals to timestamp. And in addition to that, we are also looking for the username. Okay, so like what is the username, and these two things will identify that this is a unique tweet. Okay, so we have got these two, and then let's say if nothing is found, so it will simply return a none statement here. So that is the meaning here. Okay, so now let's try to see that if there is a, if let's say tweet to update is not none, that is what I'm trying to say here, tweet to update, then we will simply say that return, and then we will say an error message that tweet with timestamp, then provide the timestamp here that you are passing, and the username, and provide the username not found. Okay, you can pass this error, and then let's say if there is a value there, then we can just check that tweet to update, and then we will just pass the updated tweet here. So that will be is equals to the tweet, that dictionary that you are passing. And also we will update the timestamp as well. But the thing is that when you update the timestamp, so you will not remember that when it was first created. So let's create another value here, which we will call it as edited timestamp. So when you see, like in most of the applications, whether it is not only just tweet, so it shows that edited at this particular time. So we will just create this, a separate one, and then get the new timestamp here, and then we will return the tweet to update, so that it will be verified that this was an edited tweet. Okay, so what we did, we tried to find out based on the username and timestamp, we tried to find out the tweet that we want to update. If there is a null value, that means if there is no return, so we will simply just send an error message that this timestamp or username does not exist. If it exists, then we will simply update the tweet, and then also we will create a new key here, which will call it as edited timestamp, which will tell you that okay, at this point of time, this tweet got updated. Okay, so let's try to save this and see this in our user interface here, or Swagger interface. So if I refresh it, so you will see there is another one got created here that is put method. Now if I try it out, so I will simply say, let's say C1, I will use mine. Okay, and then I need to pass the timestamp here. So let's get the timestamp from this. Okay, so let's say I want to update this one. So I will copy this and again go back here, paste the timestamp here, and also I will pass the dictionary value. This, it doesn't matter. You can keep it null. Timestamp also you can keep it null here in this dictionary. And here, instead of saying hello world, let's say I am going to call hello world of AI. Okay, so that we have changed, and if everything is fine, I should get a proper response. Let's execute this. Yep, so you can see that we have got this response. Okay, and if you want to verify that if this got added into our timestamp or the timeline, so let's try to run this, execute. You can see that we have, yeah, you can see this is the updated, and it has another extra key which says edited timestamp. Okay, so that way what we did is we have implemented the update tweet method, that is the put method, using the put request or HTTP request. Now let's say also try that if we like pass on a timestamp that does not exist. Okay, I am just added some random value here, and let's try to again try this. It should send me the error message. So you can see that it is sending me an error message that this could not be found. Okay, that means our endpoint works perfectly well. Okay, so now let's go back to our code base. Now we will look into the delete method, that is the last method. Like if you have a tweet which is creating a lot of controversy, so it's good to delete that, right? So let's try to create a delete method here. So delete method will be just like the way we have found. I think it will be something like this, where we are user timeline. It will be slightly modified. Okay, I think I did not change this name. So let's call this as an update tweet here, so that it will look different. Update tweet. Now here I will call it as a delete tweet, and this will be a delete method. Okay, and here along with the username, I will also need the timestamp, because I need to know that which timestamp and which user I want to delete. Okay, so I will try to find out the same way. I think this will be the same way. I will try to find out here that which tweet I want to delete. Okay, tweet to, instead of calling it this, I will call it as tweet to delete. And then once that tweet is found, or if it is not found, so we will simply say that this tweet is not available. Okay, and if it is found, then we will simply say that tweets, since it's a list, right, I will remove the tweet to delete. Okay, and also I will just send a return message that let's call this as a message, that tweet with timestamp and username is deleted. Okay, now let's save this and let's try to go back to our user interface here. Let's try to refresh. Let's see that. Let's try the first item, that is get all the tweets. So when you get all the tweets, so you have this, right? You have, let's say if I want to delete this one, okay, or maybe this one, hello world one. So if I will just simply copy the timestamp, and then I will go back. You can see that this another route got created here, which is delete route. So if I click on this and click on try it out, so I will provide the username, I will provide the timestamp, and then if I execute it, so you can see that it said that this got deleted. Okay, and if you want to verify it, so you can again execute the first endpoint, and you can see that the one that was saying hello world got deleted, right? And now let's also see the error messages. Like, let's say if I provide a wrong timestamp here, instead of 30, let's say at the end I'm saying 31. If I try to execute it, it says that error, it could not be found. Okay, that means this also works perfectly fine, right? So we just now implemented all these four in a simplest possible way using FastAPI, right? In memory example. But there are some things that we need to take care of it. Like there could be some issues which can be taken care here. Like we are still not using the full functionality of FastAPI. Okay, so we will try to learn all about them like in the upcoming lectures. Right now we just understood that, okay, how a basic functionality of FastAPI we can implement, like all the four kind of the usual or general kind of HTTP requests we have implemented, like get, post, put, and delete. And some more features we will try to learn in the upcoming lectures. Okay, so I hope you have learned something if you are the beginner. So let's see you in the next tutorial, where we will try to again upgrade this project more, and we will try to utilize more FastAPI conventions or more better software conventions to make this app better. Okay, and by that learning we will try to also get better into creating applications for the AI applications using FastAPI. Okay, so that's all for this. Thank you all. See you all in the next tutorial.